Hello there. Welcome to Jedi and the Mailman, show where two old friends aim to deliver the best Star Wars talk in the galaxy. I'm Mike the Mailman. That's Jimmy the Jedi. And we are here, as we sometimes are, when there's a brand new Star Wars TV show to talk about. Talk some Maul.
Yes.
We're going to mull it over, Jimmy.
Yeah, good one. Mull it over. But because Mike and I are, like share a brain half the time, we have a special guest, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We're very excited to have her. First time on the show. Katarina, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. All right. We're super excited to have you on the show. We have got to ask you a few Star Wars-y questions, and then we're going to let you talk about yourself a little bit because everyone loves to do that, right? So, Katarina, can you tell us, what's your go-to Star Wars show, movie? Like, if you're stuck on an island,
okay,
what are you watching over and over again?
It's got to be The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
Nice.
I'm like diehard Bad Batch. I feel like that was really where, because I liked Star Wars for a long time, but that was one where I really kind of narrowed in.
Wow,
and
okay.
I know like every word of season one. Like Bad Batch through and through. I got 3 seasons to go through too. So if I'm on an island, like I'm covered.
There you go. Is there anything? Like I kind of want to talk about this now. Is there anything like what about Bad Batch really pulls you into it so much?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I just kind of felt like right off the bat, like really connected to it. It was right after COVID when I kind of found it. I was doing college, so I think I was going through like a lot of big changes, and obviously like a big theme of The Bad Batch was going through change and kind of like an unpredictable time. And I feel like it just kind of felt like I felt very seen by that show.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Yeah.
And you got to have a fun experience with that show too, right?
Oh yeah. So I got to go to the season 3 like premiere of The Bad Batch at Lucasfilm, and I got to meet some of the showrunners, D. Bradley Baker, Michelle Ang, and it was just like they took us upstairs in Lucasfilm and they surprised us with them, which was crazy. Wow. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. I was, obviously doom scrolling through your stuff, and you were so excited afterwards. Your hands were shaking, and your drink was like going everywhere.
It was so bad. Awesome. I'd never felt like that before. I was like, oh my god! I think I just like cried the whole time. Like it took me forever to process that I actually got to have that experience. It was It was crazy.
Amazing.
Nice. Jason over the Nerdy Bookshelf says good answer, so he likes that Bad Batch answer.
Yes.
So awesome. I got some comments over here. Sorry, I'm all over the place. We got this guy. We got the Star Wars guys. Can't wait. 50's in the house.
50.
We got Skywalking. Ryan, we got to talk to you about this book, man. Mike's struggling, and I haven't even started it yet. So, Katarina, have you read Splinter of a Mind's Eye?
I have not.
Okay.
Don't bother.
Don't.
Mike is struggling. So Ryan, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for the show.
Yeah.
But then we got
30% through. I'm not cashing out now, but man, it's bad.
Then we got our first hello Embo Hondo Rebo Greedo Echo. He added Echo in there for you. That's very sweet. TiVo Mando Lando combo. Very nice. 50. So all right. So I guess this next question, I think I know where this answer is going to come from. Favorite Star Wars character, at least today, because we know it changes. It can change every day. Or are you one of those people who's like, nope, it's this person?
For a good while now, since the Bad Batch, it's been Omega.
Nice.
I love her tenacity. She's just like such a positive energy despite all that she's gone through. And I feel like I see a lot of myself in her. I think she's like 10 times better than I'll ever be, but she's still just very like.
Well, she's an animated character, so don't
Right, she's flawless. So much. But of course, like Ahsoka was a big one for me for a long time. She's still up there too. Mon Mothma, Cassian Andor, like it just the list will keep going. But yeah.
Nice, very cool. How did you feel about how that ended? I know we're here to talk Maul, but my only complaint really about Bad Batch season 3 was like I wanted more for Omega. Like,
oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when we got Asajj in the mix, I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about how that ended?
I loved that they gave her a spotlight, that she was able to kind of be on Tantus and have her own moment where she kind of fell into the leader role. But I will say, Echo gave her that crossbow, and we never even got to see her use it. Like I think we saw it in the one episode, and it just disappeared.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I was pretty bummed about that. I thought we were gonna get like her fighting with her crossbow or something, but it was really
Yeah. Were you satisfied with how it ended? Like the show itself in
I
general?
I would say yes. I think it kind of left some room for maybe it to be revisited as well, which I
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
appreciated. Towards the end though, I will say like I did not know how they were going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I was like one episode left and we still have so much to kind of tie in. But I think they did a pretty good job. I was really happy with it.
Nice.
I think they
Yeah.
left room for an Omega series. Like that
That's
could be in the future at some point, you know?
I just see her being like Leia's like second in command or something
yeah,
somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like I just
Yeah. She's something in the rebellion. She has to be.
I'm
for
keeping those
sure.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, that'd be cool because there is supposedly this secret animated show that's coming out before Maul season 2.
Ooh.
So I don't know if we've I don't know how much has been leaked yet or whatever, but talking of Omega, if Omega appeared in live action, who would play the part? Mae Martin would be cool, I think. I don't know Mae Martin. Let me look this person up.
No, we're all gonna.
Yeah, we're all like scrambling real quick. Who's Mae Martin?
I am nervous though if they ever did bring Omega to live action. Like that, there's something
Oh,
sometimes I feel like some characters just can't make the jump to live action.
Yeah.
I
That
think
was-
this would probably work.
I think
Canadian-
what they've done with animation, it's good enough to me. Like honestly, like with this, we're about to talk about this Maul stuff and the Bad Batch and all these other shows, animated shows. I don't need to see them brought to live action. They are so good the way they are. There's no need.
I agree.
That's valid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, 50. I agree with you though. I think Mae Martin might be able to pull that off. I don't know. Like it's so crazy what they can do with like, you know, makeup and all that stuff. All those makeup artists are amazing at what they do. And so, okay. So I think did the Bad Batch ever fight Maul? If the Bad Batch had to fight Maul, how would that go? Oh yeah, I'm hitting you hard hitting questions here at Explore the Force.
Oh God, I don't know. I like realistically, I feel like they could talk their way out of it somehow. But if it was like combat, like Asajj went easy on them, and they did not. Like they didn't stand a chance. So like if it was them against Maul, like it wouldn't end well. So
especially Maul these first 2 episodes, Maul, right? Like
oh my
yikes. So crazy. Very cool. Like, yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if we've had anyone say Bad Batch before, so that's pretty exciting. And I do love that show. I was watching, was it season 2 and Mando season 3 that were coming out simultaneously? Yeah. I was watching Bad Batch before I was watching Mando because I thought it was so good. So that's pretty exciting. Lots of good characters, lots of good stories there. But we're not here to talk about Bad Batch. If we are, though, we know who we're calling.
That's right.
Bad Batch expert. So we are here to talk about Darth Maul, or Maul, right? Not Darth anymore. I guess I can drop that. Maul Shadowlord. I need to ask you both. When you heard this announcement, I think did you go to Japan? Were you in?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in Japan. We were in Japan there as well. And then Mike, when you heard the news, how did you guys feel when he said, "Yeah, we're doing Maul Shadowlord"? You're like, what was your first reaction?
Cool. No, I mean, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I mean, Darth Maul is not Darth Maul anymore. It's just Maul. Maul is one of the coolest character designs that Star Wars has ever had. And, you know, back in 1999 when we saw him cut in half, I think everybody thought, what a waste. But then, you know, come Clone Wars, they brought him back. And then we got him in, you know, a subsequent series, Rebels and whatnot. And we're all pretty happy about it. So this one more series with Maul, I mean, how could you not think it's cool?
There we go. I like it. Katarina, how were you feeling in Japan, getting the news that we're getting Maul Shadowlord?
Man, that was a time. It was crazy. I didn't know. I knew they were going to kind of announce like a show. I didn't know what it was going to be. Maul took me, I think, a little bit by surprise, which in retrospect, like, I don't know why, because there's so much of his character that we just don't know about, because he is like this high rising figure in the cameo that he had in Solo, but then you meet him in Rebels and he's like a little bit crazy. He's kind of like a shell of who he used to be. And I'm literally like, how did he jump from here to there? Yeah. And then recently I did like a deep dive and just of Maul, because I was like, I need to refresh my like memory of this character.
yeah.
He was never someone that I gravitated towards. I always thought he was cool. I thought he had like a lot of very good aura farming moments. And then I kind of realized that he has a really sad life.
Oh, Shakespearean, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like, this is so like tragic from start to end, like just betrayal, loss, grief. Like it's just one thing after another. And now I'm kind of like, I'm rooting for him to just get what he wants. Like, I don't even care.
Nice. All right. The Nerdy Bookshelf over on Instagram says George realized his mistake of killing Maul a little too late. Yeah, I think so. But, he was smart enough to bring him back, and we were all like, no. And then it worked out. We got a new show. So George is smarter than all of us. And then Legendary Photo says, I'm super excited for this series and can't wait to explore this side of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, I think it's an interesting side that we're kind of diving into here. Well, they've sold the show bad guys versus worse guys kind of thing. And I mean, Maul even says this isn't good versus evil anymore, so I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was kind of the same way. From what we saw, I'm trying to remember if we saw that little, like how much of a little teaser trailer or whatever we saw when we were in Japan. I thought it looked pretty great, and I'm always down for more Maul, and I've always thought he was an interesting. I didn't really care for him. I was also like a prequel hater kind of person, like one of those jerks, like, oh, the prequels, that's not my Star Wars. I was an idiot for a while. I had a dark time, right?
We all did.
But like Quinlan, I came back from it, and I love the character. I just feel so bad for him.
Yeah,
like he needs a big hug or something, right? Like I think a big hug would have solved everything.
Yeah, I think if he had been loved in the beginning, like his life would have been so different. But
like Jimmy often says, if the Jedi would have found Maul and Asajj before the dark side did, how different would the story be?
It makes you wonder.
It definitely makes you wonder. I do think that Maul and like Anakin would have been like kind of parallel stories, because they both are so like passionate and full of emotion that they shouldn't be, that it would leak out eventually. So but yeah, so we got our first reactions here. So let's just kind of we're going to dive into it, then we'll come back around and we'll just talk characters. And so the first episode, chapter 1, The Dark Revenge, written by Matt Minovitz. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize, Matt, if I'm because he's probably watching. So how are we feeling? How did this opening episode, the cold open, how does it grab you? Are you pulled in like immediately upon watching this first 5, 10, 15 minutes of this show? I'll let you go.
Okay, cool. I was like, okay. I think it's a wonderful job. I think the world building is really nice. Just visually, you see so many layers of like animation and detail that they took to kind of create Janix and really make it like a gritty underworld. So you're getting a feel for it. And then I think they kind of don't really explain things too much. I feel like they rely on the audience to kind of understand it, and they trust us. And I like that they're not spelling everything out. So I think it's off to a great start.
Yeah.
Nice. Mike?
Yeah, I would agree. Starting off with a heist, it's just awesome. Like you said, no, they're not easing into it. There's no backstory or anything like that. Just hit it with the action. We all know this character. We all know what's going on. We don't need a whole lot of build up. Just get right to it. And like you said, just the art style, the action, just everything. It's really fun. And it's so different from any other Star Wars thing I've seen. Like this is, we'll get into it, but this genre, like a completely different genre than what we're used to in Star Wars. We've been talking about this forever. Star Wars exploring different avenues and just put out more shows in more different veins. And this is just amazing.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think so. My note says this def hits hard. Maul picks up right where he left off. So I think just like the last time we see him in season 7 of Clone Wars, he hasn't changed a bit.
Nope.
So he's here and he's ready. And he's kicking some butt right off the bat. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting take. And then we're kind of like, and I think they do a good job because they introduce us pretty quickly to to Devin and Master Daki, which we'll talk about a little bit. And then, of course, they go right into Brander Lawson and Two Boots. do we have like a, how are we feeling about these characters? Because I thought they did a pretty good job of kind of like setting the stage with all these characters. We get that heist, and then we get Lawson comes in, and then of course we see our Jedi. How do we feel about how they kind of ushered in this new cast of characters? And Spybot, don't forget Spybot, who might be my
awesome.
new favorite droid. So
I think they did a great job at kind of like just introing the characters, because they have so much mystery around them, but you kind of do have a sense of who they are, what their goals are, what their morals are, especially with like Lawson. I feel bad for him also, because I'm like, he's literally up against Maul, and I know that he's the guy who kind of is trying to be a good dad, busy with work, trying to keep the peace in a lawless time. Devin, I think she's a fiery character. I'm really excited to explore her. Theo, I'm curious about her master though, because he just seems so like a solid character, but I'm still just like, who is this guy? Because every Jedi master is so different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious. And then Maul's like whole collective that he has going on right now. They're a really cool group of characters.
I like his supporting cast. Like Rook is a really good lieutenant. Like,
yeah.
I'm glad that Vanessa Marshall's back doing Star Wars. So
yeah.
Mike, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's the way that these characters are portrayed. It's kind of tropey, but it works. You know what I mean? Like you have the evil villain, you have the cop, you have all the different characters that you would have in a police procedural, and it's not boring at all. It's not. They're different. They're fleshed out, but you don't have to go and tell you don't have to tell a bunch of backstory and everything right off the bat to develop these characters, because you know how they fit in this this genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just accept, okay, he's the cop who works long hours and as a failed marriage, and Maul is I don't know, he's like kind of like just this super evil villain, head of an organization, like no nonsense. I mean, just everybody fits the role without being boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's old or stale. It all fits in nicely.
Nice. Larry said, Jerry, sorry, I got smushing down his name. Legend Jerry Photo says, I think it's his overall hate. This is back when we talking about Maul, makes him a memorable character. He hated Kenobi so much it kept him alive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Nerdy Bookshelf says the hand-painted backgrounds are gorgeous. Yes, we will talk about Janix. That is incredible. Matt Hunter says it's giving me Blade Runner vibes in a good way. The cop is very interesting to me. Rick Deckard. Yeah, I thought that as well. Like, I'm not a huge Blade Runner movie guy. Like, I just never kind of really got into it. But yeah, I can see that. How do you guys feel about that? Like, Janix is this new place. Does it feel like we've lived there? Does it feel too much like Coruscant or Nar Shaddaa, or are you loving it? And
I mean, it's similar to Coruscant, but I don't know. It's, to me, the perfect setting for what we're getting into here. I don't know. And like you said, the painted background. I mean, the painting, dude. If you just walked in on this at some points, you would think you're watching a live action show. It's that realistic.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, I think it differs from Coruscant enough to where it has its own distinct like feel and environment to it. Also, I just found out that it's like surrounded by jungle.
Oh,
I didn't know that. I was like, okay, so it's like city right in the middle of jungle, but oh my gosh, the feel of
I
it.
thought in Star Wars every planet was just one thing.
I know it seems that way, doesn't it?
Only jungle, only city, but this is both.
That's kind of cool. That'll be interesting to see what they do with that, because they did talk about escaping into. I think they talked about in these first two. Anyways, I got to be careful.
Really
so yeah, Skywalker and Ryan says, I love that we have Italian food in Star Wars now.
The low fat farm. I think what people are calling it.
So, haven't seen much of Janix since Janix broke up with Chandler. A Friends joke.
Yeah.
All right. From 50 over in the UK making Friends jokes. All right. So that's awesome. What do you guys think the main goal of this first episode? Like, what are they trying to tell the audience? And do you need to, I guess we kind of already answered that. Like you guys said that you didn't really need to know anything about Star Wars to watch it. So what's this first episode trying to do for us?
I think just like give a good feel for kind of like the characters in the story. Like I feel like I watched it with my mom, and which is shocking because she's not big into animation. And so for her to sit down and watch it was kind of like surprising to me. And she was like making commentary on it. So for her to get it, I feel like is kind of like, that's a big deal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I feel like it was just a good way to kind of intro the vibe of each character. I feel like you didn't learn too much, but you got just enough to grasp kind of like what we're getting into moving forward.
Okay. Like it. Mike?
Yeah. And more or less just lays the groundwork, like you said. It really does feel like you just finished watching Clone Wars and you went right into this. You know what I mean? The Maul story just continued. Like there was no break. It just picked right up. And this episode just sets the groundwork for what we're getting into now. I think it's really well done.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think it's interesting too. So, they do this, and throughout these 2 episodes, they just kind of give you just enough dialogue. Just I don't know if they give the dialogue they give us that are it kind of fills us in on the backstory stuff. If it's enough for someone who's like doesn't know,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh yeah, they're explaining it right here. But I'm like, if you don't know what they're explaining, I guess maybe it doesn't work as well. So, but yeah, I thought this was a great introduction, a great start. And also, if you're watching it, you got to have your captions on for Spybot.
Yeah.
So
I thought about turning the captions on because I never watch with captions, and I was like, there's so much kind of being thrown at us with like the different crime organizations, the crime bosses, that I was like, I should have on captions, and I didn't. But then people were saying that Spybot actually does like have captions.
Oh, he's like talking and saying funny things, and like, he's kind of a little jerk, which I mean is what you kind of expected for a droid that's working for. But yeah, go back and watch it with the captions on. You will not be disappointed. So it's pretty fun. What we got here? We got Maul is just such an awesome character. And one detail I've always loved about Darth Maul is where he keeps his lightsaber. The Jedi keep it on the left side of their waist, and Maul is on the opposite. Yeah,
I never noticed that.
Neither did I.
It might seem small, but it feels intentional. The Jedi guardians of peace and tradition follow structure, even in how they carry their weapon. Left side, consistent, discipline. Maul breaks that. Yeah, that's a good shout. I didn't know if I knew that or not. That's awesome.
I certainly didn't. I would have figured depending on your right or left-handed.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know we're all gonna start like
that. We're all like kind of like is that right? Is that how I would do it? Where am I gonna put my lightsaber? Oh my goodness. Yeah. So how do we feel? I mean, they don't really waste any time too. So we come in and we're also introduced to some of the Shadow Collective, the remainders of the Shadow Collective, at least 2 of them this first episode. We get Vario and Demas. Demas doesn't last too long, but how are we feeling about Vario so far? And you can, first episode, second episode, whatever. How are we feeling about this little dude? And he gives me, I don't know, Kettering, if you're old enough to know the movie Tombstone, but he gives me Spike vibes where he's going to like survive through this and drive you crazy and like snake his way through everything. And at the end, when everyone's like laying in dust and blood, there goes Vario sneaking off and slithering.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tombstone. I had that reaction because I just had a friend who was like, "You need to watch Tombstone." So I'm like, okay. Yeah, he does seem like that guy who would be the only one to survive like a nuclear blast. Like he just is always there. He was kind of comical. Like he brought some comical relief because he just seems so slimy, but like solid enough to like stick around. He was funny.
Yeah, he does a good job. So in these first 2 episodes, he's pretty fun. Mike, what about you? How are you feeling about these 2 these characters and Vario specifically? Because I mean, Demas doesn't make it very long.
Yeah, Vario is kind of cool. Like when you first see him, he's in that armor or whatever. I didn't know it was armor at first. I didn't know it was
that's pretty cool
suit or whatever. Yeah, I thought this is a really weird looking dude. And then
and
then he gets blasted and he jumps out of the mech suit and takes down the other dude. But yeah, he's interesting. He's slimy like you said, but good comic relief. You know what I mean? Like him and Murderbot or whatever, or what's
Spybot,
yeah. Well,
Murderbot, Spybot.
Murderbot fits too, but yeah, both kind of fill that role of bringing the lightheartedness, bringing some comic relief to it. But yeah,
very cool. Nerdy Bookshelf says he made me think of little Joe Pesci. Yeah, that's fair. Little Joe Pesci, you can see from back in the Gangsters. All right, so everyone's seen it. We don't need to have to like necessarily like talk it to death or anything, but is there like a standout moment for season or for this first episode in character? Like right off the bat, which character are you pulled into, and like what was the moment maybe that really kind of yanked you into it?
God, there's so many.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
It's like you almost have like different like moments for like different factions of characters because you have like Devin, who's a Jedi, and you have her whole kind of arc, and then you have Riley, who I find interesting, like him and Lawson, and then there's Maul. So it's almost like there's 3 stories kind of at play.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll let you cheat since you're the guest. You can give us one of each if you want.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll try to keep it concise. Maul's he's very like, I know we know that he's like a very precise character, but just his thought process, like I feel like you can see the gears turning. He's very precise and exact about like his plan in general. Like he always is like 10 steps ahead. So I know we see him kind of look at Lawson for a second, and then he like chooses to keep him alive. So I think that process of just like who he's willing to keep alive, and like he's not senseless with his kills. Like he's very not without reason.
Nice.
Also, the hallway scenes are always just a treat.
I mean, you do not want to run into Maul in a hallway.
No.
I mean, just like, I'm going to go this way kind of thing. Like you see him, it's like go the other direction. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And then Riley and Lawson, the dynamic between him and his dad, I feel like there's so much told in just like even Lawson's desk at work. So he's a guy busy with work, like what's going on with the wife? I don't know. But Riley, I hope to see more about him because like what kind of story does he have on his own as opposed to just like being supporting kind of content for his dad's character. And then for Devin, oh gosh, I did feel kind of bad that Maul just like uses the kindness of the Jedi to his advantage with like the whole bridge. And then like obviously her master was like conflicted, like, do I go save my Padawan or do I go save the people on the bridge? So it's just like, I wonder if that'll come back in the storyline at all. I don't know. I'm looking at you because you've seen 8 episodes. The answers.
When I go quiet, it doesn't mean anything. So I'm just you got Maul scenes by 50 Thunder. That's pretty good.
I know, yeah. And then Devin just like breaking out on her own. I feel like it's so interesting that Maul has gone up against like some pretty bad characters, and yet he has the least amount of patience for like teenage girls, like her and Ahsoka. I
was just gonna say that, like, welcome to my life, Maul. Teenage girls can be they can be the scariest thing on the earth. You get them in the wrong, you get to catch the girl in the wrong mood. I students sometimes like I just had one girl who's always super, super nice. And like the last couple of days, she's been so mean. So I finally was like, hey, like, what's going on, man? Maul just needs to talk to Devin. I think
so.
He just needs to listen to her. And I think he can win her over.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I was a teenage girl. And you should be scared of teenage girls.
What does Matt say? He says, I think so far these 2 episodes, that's what's great so far. Even though it's about Maul, these other characters are getting drawn into like that green guy that's force sensitive. Yeah, Master Iko Diodaki. That is like the funnest name to say, isn't it?
Diodaki.
Yeah, God, I love that. So, Mike, what about you? Do you have a character or a moment from this first episode? Because we'll get into the next episode or chapter. Sorry.
Yeah, it's hard to, after seeing both episodes, it's hard to split them up. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to remember what happened in chapter 1 and what happened in chapter 2. I think they kind of
well, it's like
together.
One continuous thing, the way it picks up, right? I mean, it just immediately starts off. So,
but Master Diodaki, the choice to go with that species, his face, there's just something about it. It says so much without saying anything. Like you could see deep sadness in that face. You get the feeling that he is in a bad way. I mean, we know what's happened. We know Order 66 has gone down. He's responsible for this Padawan. He's starving. He's tired. He has to stay hidden. Like there's just so much expression, so much feel that you get from that face of that creature. I don't know if a human could, like, if they could pull that off with a human. There's just something about, in my mind, that design of that creature. It just says so much. And besides his sadness, you do get to see too, like you said, where he pushes up the bridge, where he uses the force to stop the vehicle. Like he's a super powerful Jedi who, I mean, for him to be that strong, yet know he's lost everything and he can't fight. I don't know, man. It's just so much. So he's hardly had any lines, but I read so much into that character already. Like he's really resonated with me.
You get was Dennis Haysbert, I think I called him the Allstate guy, but he's a State Farm guy, right? Isn't that what? State Farm guy. That voice, man, like that's another thing too I want to talk about before we're done was all these voice actors. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I think for me, well, yeah, I don't know, man. There's so many good moments. Goodness gracious. Like I can tell you when it doesn't work for me. Can I go there instead? Since we Two Boots. I love droids. I love droids. Like I love droids. I don't love Two Boots. It doesn't. This is my reason. Spybot, love them. I want a Funko. I want a Lego. Whatever. Two Boots doesn't make any sense to me. One, because the voice is so different from every other police droid in there. Like they're all the same sound, and there's him. And then you find out in episode 2 that he's really like he's like by the book protocol, right? Because he wants to call the Empire or whatever. But then he's also wearing boots, and nobody else is. And I just kind of like, I get why we have this character. The voice is a little grating, and all I can see is, and I can't think of the actor's name, but all I can see him is in the It Crowd, that television show where he got started, and he had that really high, nasally, nerdy voice. And for me, I don't know. I like him because he's like, oh, I just shared these moments with you, Captain, because he's got the cup of coffee or whatever. And he's like, I don't drink this or whatever. And I like his relationship. I think they might have between him and Spybot. I know we get a little bit of that in episode 2, but that droid just, every time he talks, I just kind of cringe a little bit. I don't know how you guys are feeling about Two Boots.
Do you think it's because the actor from something else? Like, I don't know. I never watched the IT Crowd or the Crowd or whatever it is, so I don't know that actor. And I think it's nice that he has a different voice than the other bots because he is different. Like he is.
But why is just that one different? Like that's my only. I don't know. And I'm not complaining about it. Like I'm not like for me in the story, it doesn't seem like it would make sense that you'd have this one droid that's in that position that's so different from all their other ones. They all probably came off the same assembly line together.
Yeah, but I think that's why he's the captain's partner. That's why he's his you know what I mean? Because he's different. Because there's something flawed in his programming or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he wears the boots. He sits with the coffee, even though he can't drink coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's got a different voice. He wants to go with protocol. He wants to contact the Empire, but he's not going to go and do it himself. He still defers to his partner. You know what I mean? Like, all that sort of stuff is endearing to me. I think he's awesome.
All right. Well, then maybe it's just a Jimmy issue. Maybe. What about you, Katarina? How do you feel about Two Boots?
I thought he was kind of fun. I like Two Boots. I do. Yeah, I feel like in a way, like maybe he had like his voice reprogrammed because there's so many droids that have so many different like quirks to them or backstories. And I'm not sure if the other security droids like had K2SOs, like Alan Tudyk's voice.
Oh yeah.
Like Katika was different as well. So I'm like, I don't know if it's just like a reprogramming thing. The boots though, I don't even know. I would like to know why did he put on a pair of boots in the first place?
You and me both. I want to know why. Like, I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah. Like, but I do like that he kind of adds a little bit of personability to Lawson, where when it's so much kind of like by the book, strict, like they both kind of balance each other out in that way. So I think he's fun. I want to see him like a little bit more to get to know him a little bit better, but yeah, I kind of vibe with him.
All right, cool. Nerdy Bookshelf says, I have a feeling it's the pseudo replacement for the son he's not paying attention to. Yeah, I guess Two Boots could be there for that reason. That's too bad for Riley though. What we got here? We got incredible animation. I grew up thinking Tom and Jerry was fantastic animation. This is something else. Yeah. No, I mean, if you just take a look at Maul, and we'll talk about some of that stuff if we have time at the end, but if you just take a look at Maul, like you guys see that 8-minute clip that like StarWars.com posted, I think it was on YouTube and Instagram, of Dave Filoni talking about the history of Maul. And you see like Clone Wars Maul, and then you see Rebels Maul, and this looks so cartoony versus this scary AF. Like just, I mean, the animation makes it scary. Like I feel like I'm not sure how they did it. I hope we get some behind the scenes or art of book or some explanations from some people that were involved in this. But yeah, I think that it really drives that forward. Maybe we'll find out more about Two Boots. I thought maybe he was reprogrammed like K2. Oh, well, maybe, like, who knows? There's so much out there. I don't know. So Good stuff.
Maybe over the next 6 episodes, he gets really annoying.
I don't know. I'm only talking about the first 2 episodes, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, Michael. Anything else from episode or chapter 1? The Dark Revenge. Is that what it's called? The Dark Revenge? That's a good. The titles are so good too, aren't they? The Dark Revenge. Like I'm like, ooh, scary. And then we've got chapter 2, Sinister Schemes, written by Matt as well. So he's crushing it, this first one. So let's and this episode jumps. So we ended episode 1 in the police station, all heck's breaking loose. We got all those horror scene cuts that we saw in the animation. I guess we could talk about action right now. How do you guys feeling about the action in this?
It's so good.
Because it's like nonstop in these first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's so smooth. I feel like you get to see Maul. Like, also, the thing about Maul is that he's always working at like 20% power. Like, this is not even full Maul. So it's just like he's a menace. And I love it, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's like, you're right. Like, he's kind of just going through the motions. Like, you could, if they want, like, what was it? Oh, when they take over the ship, like they send in Maul first, and he's, what kind of a weapon he is, because he just annihilates everybody in that hallway.
Yeah,
but you're right. Like, leaving the police precinct, like he's not killing everyone. He's not just going through and thrashing everyone. It's very systematic, very thought out, very controlled. But yeah, I mean, it's just on point. Like the action's just intense. The stab racks with the
Icarus
with the gun and oh man,
was it Icarus and
Scorn? I think
Scorn. Yeah, I saw a photo of the guy who's playing Scorn. Like, he's like this really cool looking dude. Yeah. I was like, damn, like that guy's cool. They should have just made him a character. Like, that's how cool the guy looks. I'm like, damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, just such an amazing crew. Like,
yeah, well, that's what
their business.
Yeah. So that crew, and then episodes, they go in there, they get Vario, and they grab Devin, and she's like, Maul, and that ends. That's a great. I mean, how frustrated would you have been if that's all you got that week or this week?
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, I think this 2 episode thing works. I watched it the first time when I watched like 5 of them at once, and I watched like the next 3. But then when I went back to watch notes, I tried to watch them in the 2 episode chunks that because I'm like, all right, how am I going to feel just getting these 2 episodes, and then listening to like people like Clan Brandalorian and the guy who loves Star Wars, and those guys are like talking about it. I'm like, oh, I can't tell you anything. It's so it's fun though. I do miss speculating, and I love listening to them, their brains going. But so the action kicks off right away, and we get so much in this. We get to see what Master Docky can do. Mm-hmm. We get to see. I mean, so how are we feeling about this? Is this episode? How are we feeling about this episode? This chapter?
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Just getting to see these kind of characters, like, just literally, yeah. I mean, we kind of jumped right into it. Like, there was no pause. Yeah. Also, there was a shot, I think, when Maul they were all kind of like escaping out of the prison, and he kind of like did like a backflip fall. And I was like, dude, that was so Phantom Menace, where he just like got cut in half, where it was just like the parallel to that was, that was so good.
Oh, I didn't think about that, because that moment stood out to me. I rewatched him real quick when I got home today, and I just finished up that episode, and I was like, oh, that, like, I've seen that like 4 times now. I'm like, I never noticed that fall.
Because it's just so exact to where it was in the Phantom Menace, where he like kind of falls into the trash chute. But that was so good.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh, there's so much that happened though. Holy cow, Devin! I liked getting to see a little bit more of Devin.
Yeah.
She's a fighter for sure.
She's a sassy one, isn't she?
Yeah. I'm proud of her.
I have to ask you guys right now. I'll just ask it now, Karen. We don't really follow any rules in the show, but the rumors are she's going to become Darth Talon. Mm-hmm. Given what you've seen in these first 2 episodes, do you think it's possible?
Nope.
No.
You don't think so? Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope. I don't think they're going there.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Okay. I'm just curious as to where, I would say that I feel the same way. Like, I feel like given these 2 episodes, I'm like, not here. She just seems like she's like kind of a pissed off teenage girl who's sick of of this things, but Maul kind of starts, because he captures her. We get that escape, and that's all action packed. That goes out into the streets. That's all action packed.
Mhm.
You get that standoff between Docky and Maul for a second. You're like, oh, this is about to go down, and then it turns into like the bridge scene.
Yep.
We kind of talked about, and then we get back to the lair, and I think that's kind of where this episode, like, it kind of slows down, but I feel like it really takes off as far as the show is concerned overall, because Maul starts laying that groundwork.
Oh,
I think. And so, like, if you guys, we can talk a little bit about the action scene leading up to that, but I really want to spend some time living in that, that conversation he's been having with her. So what do you guys think about leading up to that? And then we'll just jump into there.
I mean, I think we talked about a good bit about the action scene. We kind of misremembered and thought that was in chapter 1. So we did talk about Diodaki and his power, and, how that all went, Maul taking advantage of, Diodaki has to save the people. So Maul was able to escape, and just Diodaki, how cool he is with his ability to escape too. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's like a little ninja. He's just disappearing all the time. Every time Lawson's probably thinking he's seeing something. Like every time he looks, he's like, poof, gone. So,
but yeah, so we could talk about the lair.
All right, so we get into this, and I think I have some stuff written down here. I have like 47 things of notes. I got notes from like spoilers and notes that aren't spoilers, so I apologize. So the first thing he kind of talks to her is like, he thinks, and we all know this from the trailers, he thinks that she's the weapon he needs. And it's kind of like, I thought about Rebels when I first heard that that trailer we got, and he's talking about the weapon he needs, and of course in the trailer it shot straight to her. And then I thought about Malachor when he's stuck there trying to get that weapon in Rebels, right? That's when the Rebels crew finds him, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe will lead us there or something, I don't know. But he starts talking to her, and he says a couple things to her over a few scenes, and one of them's like, you've been indoctrinated your entire life, but now you have to adapt. So we can just start there, because we've seen a few Jedi. We haven't seen a ton. We've seen Kanan. We've seen Obi-Wan. We've seen that guy who doesn't make it very long in the Kenobi series. He ends up, and stuff like that. We haven't seen a ton of them to survive. How do you feel about, I think too, like, they're really making a commentary about not just like Devin and them, but like all these other Jedi. We know other Jedi survive because we get like, in Mike Chen's book, we just talked about Mil Albeth and I can't think of the other one's name, but we know they escaped and they lived through the purge. So we have a lot. Riva as well. We have so many.
Cal
Kestis.
Cal Kestis. I mean, man, the numbers are growing. How do you feel about what he says to her, though? Like, you've been indoctrinated your entire life, and now you have to adapt.
He's making points, which is like the scariest part, because even in the season 7 of like Clone Wars, where he's talking to Ahsoka, like he is making sense. Like everything he's saying applies to them, and they feel it like in their bones. Like they're like, he's right. It's just like what he wants out of that conversation is what is the scary part.
Yeah, he convinces Ahsoka for a second. Like she's like, yeah, let's go do this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those two teamed up? Oh my goodness. That's the weapon he needed.
It's also because like he's lived through that experience, and like on the other side of it, kind of like now that he's out of the system, he knows what it's like to be manipulated by it. And so I feel that he holds a lot of resentment for like organized groups like the Jedi or the Sith, because he knows that at the end of the day, most everyone in it is kind of a pawn. And so for him to like kind of have the power of being already isolated for a while, having to adapt on his own, coming back from the worst, he can now offer that perspective to her. And I think even what he was saying about like things not being so black and white as they seem is probably something that she has not considered yet. So he's catching her at like a really vulnerable point in her life. And so I can definitely see how his words will affect her.
And he's being so sweet too. He's like, let my Mandalorians cure you. And he's like, just kind of creepy in a way, right? Because like this guy's like, he's not all there upstairs. So like, what do you think about him kind of starting to like crack the egg a little bit?
Yeah,
he's trying to.
Yeah, I mean, he's a master of manipulation in this regard, but I also wonder if, like, maybe he senses something in the Force about her. You know what I mean? Like what if I remember right, he didn't catch a glimpse of her or anything like that. He
He
felt
says he
that
has
she
a
was there.
vision,
Yeah. So
and
like
then
he felt it through the Force. And then when they were breaking her out, it wasn't that he looked in there and saw her. He felt that she was there. So you got to wonder if there's something more. The Force is telling him something about, like, of course, Force users can sense other Force users or whatever, but maybe there's something in the Force telling him that she's ready. There's vulnerability there. This is your next. I don't know.
Apprentice type.
Yeah.
he seems to think so, right? I mean, he seems to think, because Rook comes in and it's like, you've had another vision,
Mhm.
and he's like, yes. And so I don't know. I saw someone talk about what if like Palpatine's putting those in his brain or something. Someone was on A Guy Who Loves Star Wars today while I was during my plan, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good thought. Like, what if, because he's done it to people before, right? Like he's I don't know. What does Nerdy say? You can see that she has the seeds of anger just ready to sprout from beneath the surface. I feel like they did a really good job of that, because like she's grumpy, like she steals the stuff even though Master tells her not to, and then she gives nothing but attitude when she's in there, and then she kind of has attitude. I mean, it's attitude, but it's still attitude. It's not like this calm demeanor, right? It's like it's not sassy Kenobi banter. It's like we said, it's angry teenage girl banter. So and then he comes back and he hits her with another one too. And I thought this one might be even worse. What does it mean to be a Jedi in the order of, in the time of lawlessness? What does it mean? Like, you think about this, Mike, you talked about seeing all this pain in Master Docky's face, right? Like this guy, I mean, we don't know. He's probably, he could be hundreds of years older. I don't know how long I don't even know what
species he is.
He's a new species.
Is he new?
Yeah.
Someone said they thought he was the same thing as that Coleman Traybar or whatever, but I didn't feel like it was.
Nah, he's like it's like he got inspo from like a dinosaur, and then
because that's what I thought it looked like something from like Jurassic World, like running around with that long, But anyway, so let's just say he's 75 years old, so he's had 75 years of being a Jedi. There you got that, and all those Jedi that we mentioned. Kenobi, we saw what it did to him. Cal Kestis, we don't know exactly what it's like for him right now, because you get to run around and chop everybody up, so that's fun. We get to see like Mill and Vert. They've become like nurses for the galaxy, like going around and helping people. What does it mean to be a Jedi in this time of lawlessness?
Yeah, you can't just step out and be that beacon of light that you can't go in and mediate a truce between warring factions. You can't just assume that you are the law and people are going to respect that, because you're wanted. Like, people are looking at you as a traitor if they're believing the Empire. Everyone wants to kill you, so you can't just step out in the open and do everything that you'd want to do as a Jedi. Like, you can't take on those great, the great deeds and stuff like that, because you're not looked at the same way. So you have to, especially those older Jedi that's their life, how their whole life has been lived. Now they have to try to work in the shadows and do the small things rather than the big things. And the pain of that would just eat you up,
For sure.
It's definitely like a constricting feeling, I feel, because they've been so free to follow their, I guess, like kind of not like necessarily rules, but like their mantras for their entire life, and be able to live that as best as they could during the Clone Wars. But now it's like, it is a privilege to be able to go out and do the right thing, because they're trying to just survive themselves. And so I think, especially for Devin and her master, like they've probably, who knows like how they even got out of Order 66, like where they were, but clearly they've been through like the worst of the worst. Like, imagine like your whole people just like genocide. So it's interesting to see how she is getting frustrated, probably for, I mean, obviously a multitude of reasons, but how is that going to play out in her? Like, is it anger just that she can put forth to doing the right thing, or is it anger where she's like, I'm just going to completely like go the other way?
That's kind of what, like, when I hear him say that, and I see that was my first thing, is like, is this how he breaks her? Because you see that in that first episode, something happens, and that heist happens, and we see it all play out, and then it switches to those two, and she's like, something's going on, and Master Jockey's like, that's not our problem anymore.
Yeah.
And he says it pretty defeatedly, and she's like, she looks at him like, ugh, like, I want to go do what I'm supposed to be doing, what I've trained to do my, her whole life, even though it's not been that long, it's still been her whole life. I mean, it's ingrained in her. So I thought that was clever. And I feel like when you're listening to this, and you're listening to Maul, and I know it's Sam Witwer back there, but I can just see like Sam and Dave and John and those guys are sitting around having a coffee talking about, like, I can just hear their conversations kind of in this dialogue where, like, what would it be like to be a Jedi in this time period? Like, it would be tough. It would be kind of crazy. And, you saw what happened in Kenobi with that kid who didn't hide.
Yeah.
Because, like, what does the Grand Inquisitor say? It's like an itch they have to scratch, right? Helping people. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's very like meta almost, because I feel like that's a question that everyone, you watch Star Wars and you're like, well, after Order 66, like, how do they come back from that? You kind of can't.
Yeah. And I think that's some of the reason too. I think, like, the sequels are having, they're struggling where to go with it, because, like, how do you come back from it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just rebuild it and do it all over again, or are you gonna make changes? Like, you kind of have to throw yourself into this world. And I kind of wonder why sometimes, if that's not why there's been so much delay with what's coming next, given the fact that, like, these are big questions to ask. So even, because whatever they set. Matt Hunter says, to me, Devin's master looks similar to the Transdoshan, like Bosk. He does kind of look that way.
Yeah.
Maybe from the same family or whatever, species kind of like thing. I would love to be in the meeting room. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Just sitting there, just chilling, taking some notes. Like, what was that again? Did you say, Dave? Oh, yeah, Dave, you got it. Spot on, Dave. I'll go get your coffee. Just kind of like, that would be like,
be a fly on the wall.
Goodness gracious. So, any standout moments for this? And I think it's too cool too, because, like, he's like, well, you have everything you need to escape, right? And he's like, if you don't think so, then that sucks that you're here. So what do you guys think for this episode? Is there a standout moment for you? Because, I mean, it's like action. He takes some shots at Devin, and then action.
Jeez. Yeah, just that conversation, I feel like, was such a good highlight, because it kind of does narrow in on, like, their perspectives, like where they're at, what they're trying to gain. And then also for Devin, I feel it's probably like a super, like, it's a good moment for her to get some insight and kind of reflect on her past. And then I imagine she might hold some resentment for the Jedi Order for not preparing her for something like this, because everything in their life has been so led a certain way that she couldn't even imagine, like, her life outside the Order. And I feel like that is kind of not fair on her part to now be thrown into this. So
it's like one of those things. Are they going to change that? Does Rey change that moving forward? You know what I mean? Like, they're not adapt. Like, even like Ahsoka says the same thing, and so they're not ready for the real world. If something, I mean, again, it's like, you can never. I'm sure they never ever in a million years thought that was going to happen. They were going to get suckered into this, but
hard to plan for that when you've got
hard to plan
millennia of being one way.
So, but I just. Mike, do you have any moments that really kind of like, whoa?
I mean, I'm really anxious to see more of Devin's story, because that's probably the biggest story in this, right? Like, I don't necessarily know that, like, Maul's the title character, but we know where Maul's going, I don't know if there's much revelation we're going to get about Maul. It's more on the characters like Devin, like, what's going to happen with her, what's her growth going to be like. That, I mean, we've spent the good past 20 minutes more or less talking about Devin and the things that she's going through, so I'm interested in that. But takeaway moments from this episode is just, I don't know, the action, just the way that group, like Maul's group, is just conducting themselves, and just the way Maul is, like, so he's not the crazy, out of his mind. He's sane. He's not
a senseless guy. Like, he's making sense. Right. He's
got plans. He's got got things together. He's moving forward. He's one step ahead everywhere. Like it's interesting. I mean, I cannot wait for more.
I'm looking forward to see what happens next week as well. So
Yeah, I'm sure you
just
are.
kind of building on it. But I'm trying to think of what like really stood out to me. I love the conversation. I think really like that. I mean, obviously we want the action. We want to see that. We want to see the violence and stuff like that because it's cool because it's animated or whatever. But this whole, he also says it's not simple as good versus evil. It's like one of the last things he says to her before he leaves. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not like, because I mean, you got bad versus worse and just you have it all over the map. And, where are the Jedi? They're not good anymore because if they do something, they're seen as bad guys. And I think it's super complicated and exciting. And I don't think this is like we always say, everyone always says Star Wars is for kids, but I don't see this show being for kids. And I did reach out to my nephew, but he's like way more ahead of most kids his age. So he's probably like, well, actually, Uncle Jimmy, and he'll be like this, and he'll give me a 15-point breakdown, but, and he'll be like way into it. But I think that's pretty good. But man, the action, Master Docky flips over and lands, and that standoff, I think that's that shot for me. Like I want that artwork of like Maul and Docky like staring each other down kind of thing. I thought that was pretty sick.
That was a great moment.
Do you have a favorite character so far? Like who? And this is tough because you've been introduced to this whole cast of characters. Who is the most compelling to you so far? And then, and Maul's not in like, oh, I took Maul, so that's the easy way out. But like, because I think there's a lot there too. But what do you guys think? What's your like MVP so far, I guess?
Oh, that's tricky.
It's tough, right?
It is. I mean, we haven't spent a whole lot of time with any of the characters. It's not, nobody's getting the lion's share of the screen time.
They spread it out pretty good.
Yeah, you're getting snippets from everyone. And it's so like such a great ensemble. Like it's all working together so well. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd definitely say Master Diadaki though.
Okay.
Just like
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Well, because I went off for like 10 minutes talking about.
No, I just figured he's going to call to you because he's an old grumpy guy just like you.
Sort of, yeah. But like I said, I see so much in that character. Like I can put myself in that position and feel those feels that he's feeling,
I'm sure as a dad you probably can, right? I mean, you're kind of like, you and one of your kids, and you're you against the world kind of thing. I get it. That's cool. I don't get it, but I get it from like, you can get that. Katarina, does Devin speak to you like Omega speaks to you, or?
I feel like I haven't seen enough to quite say that she's up there, but she's getting close. I feel very intrigued by her. And like you said about, you relating to Docky, I feel like I can kind of imagine what it's like to be a teenage girl and how complicated that is. And then to just add on to that, being a teenage girl in the midst of like the rising empire must be the worst thing ever. I'm just really curious to see like where her story arc is going to go. But I do have to give props to Spybot.
Oh yeah,
he is just like
fun. Wait till you watch with the captions though.
Okay, I'm excited.
Like you just need to go and just fast forward all the scenes that he's in. And
I was surprised that I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, he's like a little evil droid. Like we've seen probe droids, but oh my god, he's just like. And to know that he's voiced by, I think it's David Collins. That's super cool. It's just he's a lot of fun.
All right, looking at this list of characters, I'm going to pick someone different. I think I'm going to go with someone a little off the beaten path here. I think Rook Cass. I don't know how much she's going to get to do, but she's in a weird place because she's like, well, no, I'm sitting here looking at these 2 episodes, and like I wrote some of these questions down. So like. She's so loyal to Maul. He doesn't have the Darksaber anymore or whatever. But she's still there and she's still loyal to him. And then she's kind of that, that lieutenant's like, I want the best for him. And sometimes he can't help himself. So how can I, like she's in this weird position because like it's Maul. Like you just can't like, well, Maul, I think you're wrong. There goes your head. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to tiptoe. And she seems to have at least so far, she seems to have this relationship with him that he kind of respects her in a way that I haven't really seen him treat other characters, and we haven't seen him with much. I mean, we saw him in Clone Wars, but I think he was a different character then. But I just think she's got this neat. There's a lot of story I think that could tell there. Is all I'm going to say, and I think hopefully that plays out as we go. So
yeah, I can see that. Like you said, she's the perfect lieutenant. Like you could tell she doesn't get the stuff. Like, why are we wasting our time with this girl?
Yeah,
but she's not questioning it. She's just, you could tell she's, I'm not sure about this, but she's doing what Maul wants to do. The perfect lieutenant, you know.
Absolutely. All right. I'm not going to make you guys do that. So let's do. Do you have any big questions? Like I'm not answering anything. I'm just like, what's your biggest question or prediction for either down the line or next week? Like, what do you got? Like, what are you thinking? And then we'll kind of end with this. Again, I'm not giving any. Or we'll end with our scores, but obviously I'm not answering questions. I'm just curious as to where you guys are at.
I do want to know what happened to Riley's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know a lot of people were like, oh, they got divorced. But I'm like, is that all it is? Like, there has to be a reason. Like, was it just that he was busy with work? Or is it like she's somewhere else doing something? I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, like, why does, like, traditionally, like, this mundane world, like, divorced families, like, you're able to visit your mom, you're able to visit your dad. But, like, why does he want to accompany Riley?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, where is he going that he needs to be accompanied? Like, I'm a little bit curious about that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. Mike?
I guess I want to see more.
Oh.
I don't really know. I want to see where it's going to go next. You know, like nothing specific. These first two episodes just left me with such a good taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like this is, like I said earlier, it's so refreshing to see Star Wars going down this path of a police procedural. You know what I mean? This is really what it is. Like,
I love it.
I'm here for it. If this was all humans, it would be a Friday night or Saturday night show on CBS, you know, like that your parents watch. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't much about
we are the parents
now,
Mike.
Well, true, but
maybe Katarina's parents watch.
But there's not much about it that makes it have to be Star Wars. It's just set in Star Wars, so it's this treat for us that love Star Wars that our characters are in it, and we're getting to see a different kind of show. I just love it. I love it. We watch where it's gonna go.
Yeah, we watch a ton of police shows, and we did our recap. We released on Monday, and that's one of the things I said. I thought that the show felt more like not real. I mean, it's animation, but having all this cop stuff kind of pulls me into the Blue Bloods or the Rookie or any of these cop shows that we've seen and love to watch. And it's like you have this thing that we know cop shows. You know what I mean? Like we know. Even if it's propaganda, we know that you know what you're going to get. You know what you're getting into.
Procedural.
So it feels like it's in the safe space. They're like, oh, this all makes sense because it's cops, and then you just have some crazies running around on the outside of it. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I got to ask you guys, how are you feeling about the cast of characters? I know I said I was going to end this, but I wanted to really ask this though. How do you feel about the voice acting in this? Like I'm blown away. Like Wagner Moura, like I love his voice, man, and I can't believe he's in this. I can't believe Pablo Escobar is a Star Wars character. Like I'm just blown away by it. Dennis Haysbert. I mean, and Sam Witwer. I mean, just all these characters. Like I'm blown away by the cast, and I think it really brings it to life. How are you guys feeling about it, other than Two Boots?
I love that. I think they're doing an incredible job. Like somehow Star Wars just gets it right. I feel like pretty much every single time with the supporting cast, the voice actors. Sam Witwer, I think we've seen him as Maul. We've heard him. But I feel like in this show, he's bringing so much more depth to him that behind everything he says, I feel like there's a story behind it. It's calculated the way that he's applying his voice to the role. And to also know that he's so dedicated to it as well, like he's so passionate about Maul and wants it to succeed. That's been really rewarding. Lawson's voice actor Wagner, that for me is like, I love having like another Latino on Star Wars. So for me, that was like to have that representation was really, really cool. And I think he's doing a really compelling job as like a cop who's just trying to do his best. So
I'm down for a Brander Lawson like prequel series.
yeah.
Like, you know, I know the second comic comes out tomorrow, so I'll be getting that to see, because that's more about him. But I want Wagner's voice.
Mhm.
Like, I want that in my head.
You want him to read it
when
to
I'm
you.
reading this. Yeah, like it's just,
The comic.
so I'm just sitting there like, can he just like, you know, can I get the audio version of this, please? So, Mike, what about you?
It's a testament to how Star Wars treats animation.
Yeah,
It's not just a cartoon. Like, they take the time and they cast it.
Mhm.
Like, it could just be throwaway that this is animation. Anybody, just get me the guys that do the voices and we'll go with it. But there's so much intention put into it to get the right voice, the right people, and it really, really shows. I mean, yeah, Two Boots didn't connect with you, Jimmy, but I really think that they put the effort into it, and it shows. You know what I mean? It's and this is a show above, like a notch above. It's just well done.
Yeah. All right. 50 has a good question here. Do you think the animation adds to the hype, making it flow better than perhaps it would as live action? I always think so, because they can do more in animation, because some of the stuff that they do, I don't think we get some of the action scenes.
Nope.
If it's live action. So I think so. I don't know about you guys.
You know, I am so in for the animation.
Mhm.
This is something, if they wanted to do it live action, they would never get the budget. They would never attempt it. They'd never try it. You'd never get something like this. So I'm happy with it being animation. I don't care. Like,
You could do a police procedural in Star Wars live action.
you could, but
Get
to your point,
Wagner in. Come on. Live action prequel. Let's go.
to your point though, you would not get the action sequences and stuff like that. They'd have to be so minimized. Like, you just can't do those sort of things. They don't have the budget. So doing it this way is magnifique.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like a firm believer that animation is not a blueprint for live action, although I think it can lead into that, which sometimes is really cool. I just think that there's so much more that you can expand on in animation, and there's like an added depth to it. It just becomes something so completely artistic that is unlike anything you'd see in live action. And I did find it interesting how some of the voice actors do kind of resemble their characters in the show.
Yeah.
Like, I think Wagner could totally play Lawson live action. Riley Lawson could totally pull that off. But it's just been incredible to see how many fans are kind of being brought into the animated world, because I know this is kind of acting as like a bridge to people who maybe just liked Maul in the live action. So I talked to someone today just like, hey, what are you thinking about Maul? And he's like a big original fan, like not into the, like, once Disney kind of came over, he just really kind of followed along, but he's watching it and he's enjoying it.
Good.
And for him to say that, I was like, okay, like this is something that's going to bridge people together and kind of maybe pull them into some of the more animated projects, which I'm always like, yes, like come into animation.
Yeah.
And then just talking to like some of the animators, I mean, they are some of the most passionate people about their work. Like they have given it so much thought and time, and the detail is like unmatched. It's just so good.
Yeah, Nerdy says, give me the crime noir story. Matt says, having the cop visit what looks like a nightclub and getting propositioned by the female owner definitely makes it more of an adult show. Yeah, she's definitely the voice is working for her. The voice is working for her too. That's all, you know? And then Dadalorian says the animation of Maul has been absolutely pristine. It absolutely has. We're going to finish up with some scores. How would you guys score out of 10 Zabraks, however you want to say it? What are you going to give episode or chapter 1, The Dark Revenge? Remember, Mike, there's 8 more episodes to come.
I know. I'll say 8.5 or 9.
8.5 or 9.
It's a solid show.
All right.
I don't know what more I would want to make it a 10. I don't know. It's I'm sticking with 8.5.
Yeah.
For both? For the whole thing so far?
Yeah, I think I'd just rate the 2 episodes together.
Okay, we can do that. We can rate them together, I guess.
I would probably, yeah, 8.5. I was thinking only because there's so much more to go that I feel like it can only go up from here.
Yeah.
So 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 seems pretty. It was. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I would be like, oh, I wish they added more of this or.
Well, it's hard not to know like what because it's hard to not know what's missing when it's so good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like all this should have done this, but it was so good anyways, or whatever. Like, I think I gave them like 4.5 out of 5s when we were doing. I don't know why I switched to 10, but why not make things more complicated for myself? So yeah, I think I gave it, an 8.5 or whatever, the equivalency of that 8.5. I don't know what else there would be there for it. So, well, awesome. I am looking forward to next week. Katarina, we cannot thank you enough for coming on the show.
This is great.
Can you tell everyone who's listening and watching about yourself a little bit, and then where they can find you and they can follow you, because you're on a lot of social medias?
Yeah, I have the same handle, Katari X Cruz, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So it's all pretty much the same. I talk a lot and I write sometimes. You can also find me on StarWars.com writing there a couple of pieces. I'm actually going to work on.
What's the last thing you wrote there?
Last go look for a piece talking about a couple quotes from Maul to kind of just the character. So I did like quote analysis. Cool. And spoiler, I think it's okay to say the next piece I'm hopefully gonna put out is about Lawson and 2 Boots, actually. So
leave me out of it. That's awesome though. Very cool.
I get to work on that one soon.
Cool. Nice. Cool. Folks, listen, if you're not following her, TikTok, Instagram, Threads as well.
Right? No, not Threads. I haven't gotten there yet, but just
well, she'll get there eventually, folks. These young kids, So, but awesome. So, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you keep watching it. I mean, I know you're going to keep watching the show. I hope you enjoyed as much as you have this first 2. So,
yeah.
Hang on one second here, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks to everybody in the chat. This was an awesome talk. Hope to see everybody back next week. One more thing. I want to see the Maul show connect with Skeleton Crew, for example, the origins of Wim's lightsaber. Oh my gosh. That's another hour talking. We've got to go. So 50, remember that for next week. We could be here all night, folks. So, all right, Mike's it's late for Mike. He's on the East Coast, so we got to go.
I got to work tomorrow.
So, all right, we'll see everyone next week.
See ya.